Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to another what I eat in a day video. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm sorry it's been a hot minute since I last filmed one of these. I have been doing shorts versions of these, so if you haven't checked out those you can go and have like a mini preview of some of the stuff I've been eating over the past couple of weeks, but I thought it was time to get the camera out and do a proper one. So I hope you're all good. We've been experiencing the best weather in the UK at the moment. It's been awesome. It's such a mini heat wave. In fact, I feel like I'm in summer clothes. In fact, I am. I've got my shorts on, my Topshop shorts, this really lovely floaty top, and I just absolutely love the warmer months. Like, I'm absolutely here for it. And you may have noticed as well, we've painted the living room. We've gone for this really lovely rich sort of terracotta reddy brown colour, which is so much more me. It's so much warmer. I love it. If anyone's interested, it's Sunflower Ball shade. I'll try, if I remember, to pop it in the description, but if you head over to my Instagram you will see on my stories and you can check out the shade there. We still need to paint that side, which is going to be this really lovely kind of custard yellowy type biscuit colour, and I do remember the name of that because it is Biscuit by Farrow & Ball. And I remember that because it sounds delicious. No real plans for what we're having throughout the day. Actually, no, that's a total lie. I know exactly what we're having today, actually. I planned it. So this morning I got up, I had fruit and berries. I'll insert that now. Breakfast is going to be a super simple one because I have work in about 10 minutes. So I'm just making myself a coffee and some yogurt. I don't have a ton of fruit, which is surprising for me, so I'm just gonna have some blackberries, banana and some honey, which is, you know, very simple but very delicious. My yogurt of choice, which is of course free on WW, as it is the fruit. The only thing you have to consider if you are tracking accurately is the amount of honey that you add. I did track my honey, for those of you that are wondering. I did do a Q&A recently where I talked about, you know, my diet update and everything like that in general. So if you do want to hear more about things that I tracked specifically when I was trying to actively lose weight, I could definitely do a video on that. But honey was definitely something that I did track. And then finish off with a light drizzle of honey. Very simple, but what it did highlight was my lack of fruit in the house, which is an issue, so I'm going to remedy that later. But for lunch I think I'm going to have a steak sandwich, which I'm very excited about, and then for dinner tonight I'm going to roast the chicken. I'm going to have it with rice and pita and salad, and I cannot wait. So a really lovely day of food. If you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up and let's get on with the day. Alright, so it's now time for lunch, and as I mentioned before, I'm thinking about having, or I am going to have, a steak sandwich. I'm going to do some onion, because caramelised onion and steak is a match made in heaven. Tiny bit of garlic. I have some rocket salad as well, and I'm going to do like a cheesy melt, and the bread that I'm going to be using today for ease is just some of these Warburton's Thins. So just to give you guys a bit of point value when it comes to the meat, the bread, the cheese and that kind of thing. Okay, so this is the British thin cut beef steaks from Tesco, and in relation to point value, these are 0 points, which is absolutely fantastic if you are pointing. So I'm going to use one of those. The Warburton's Thins are, let's see, I think these are about 3 points for one. Not bad at all. And then I use Cathedral City lighter cheddar, and it's 2 points a serving. I do know that. I had it quite frequently. So that is the point values for those that are interested. The first thing I'm going to do is to get some onions sweating down. I'm not going to use too much. What I am going to do is keep the rest of this onion for the roast chicken later, because that will be delicious. And I am going to try for the most part and leave these ringed up, just like so, pushing them through. I'll just move the camera down slightly. And this is just going to help in terms of, I don't really fancy chopping them, if I'm completely honest. I prefer kind of ringed onions on my sandwich. And I'm also going to just cut a little bit of garlic as well, because I'm a bit of a garlic fiend and I cannot have anything really without garlic. So I'm going to use one of these sprays. Just pop a few on there. And start frying my onions low and slow. I am going to add a tiny bit of brown sugar. Literally not even a teaspoon or half a teaspoon, not even that. So I'm not even going to bother pointing it. But if you do want to do that, feel free to. So I'm just going to add a sprinkling of brown sugar, and this will caramelize and make the onions all lovely and golden. I'm going to season my steak straight in the packaging just because it's going to be easier. So salt and pepper and a bit of a cheat of all-purpose seasoning because I don't have a ton of time, but what I do want is flavour. Whilst my steak rests, I'm going to pop this little thin in the toaster. Not too much, but just to give it a little bit of texture. So as you can hear, that's got a nice bit of crunch. So I'm now going to start assembling my sandwich. I'm going to start with some light mayo. I hate these squeezy bottles. I'm such a jar person. I really hate them, but it was obviously the only thing that they had at the supermarket last time we were there. So anyway, I'm just going to spread a light serving of mayo. You can track it. I never tracked my condiments, even when I was being strict. So I'll let you guys decide about that. Washed and salted some like baby leaf / rocket salad. So just some leaves for a bit of crunch. So I'm just going to add those. And then I have the star of the show, which is the steak that has now been resting for about 5 minutes. Has a lot of flavour. And I'm actually not going to bother cutting this because it's so small. I'm just going to pop it straight on. I'm not going to bother slicing it up. I'm going to add my lovely not mushrooms. Mushrooms would have been great on this actually. I didn't think about that. Onion and garlic combo. Just a little bit of lighter cheddar. I would say that's about, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 grams absolute max. And to go alongside it, I'm going to have a bag of quavers. So it's a couple of hours till dinner, so I'm going to start preparing the bird. So I'm going to roast the chicken like I mentioned before, and I'm going to season it really generously because this is an extra large chicken. And so plenty of salt and pepper, and I'm just going to do a really simple one because I'm quite busy this afternoon. So salt and pepper, as I've mentioned, olive oil, a nice little dash of that. I think it's really important to get the crispiest skin possible to use a decent amount of olive oil. Feel free to use less, feel free to use calorie spray or calorie conscious spray, but you're not gonna get the crispy goldenness, I don't feel, unless you use a nice bit of butter or olive oil. And then I'm gonna add some chicken seasoning that's pre-seasoned, again just for ease. I think that I just can't be bothered today, if I'm honest, getting all the herbs and spices out. So I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. I'm going to pop that onion in. I'm going to cut it down and pop that in the tray so all of the juices of the chicken can impart onto it. And then also in about, when the chicken's got about 40 minutes to go, I'll add my potatoes to the tray. I don't want to add them too early because I don't want them to burn or go too crispy. I want a certain amount of crisp, but I don't want them to be cremated. And I'm not going to take the skin off my onions. I'm just going to pop them in the tray, cover this with tin foil, and then also, let me just move also my plan, when this chicken has about 20 minutes to go, I'm going to put some streaky bacon over the top so it can crisp and caramelise on top of the skin. But for now, I am going to put tin foil on this, do the first hour with tin foil, and then the second half hour, 40 minutes, without.
some potatoes now to just pop in. I'm not going to bother taking the skins off, but feel free to do that if you would like. I'm just going to pop that in the tray with the chicken. Then I'm going to baste it with a bit of the oils and the juices that are in the pan. So the chicken's out of the oven. I'm going to have one of these white pitters, which I don't know the point value of. I'm going to check that because it might dictate whether I have one or half, because normally I don't have a full pitter. I'll have half if I'm having salad and rice and potatoes. So I'll most likely have half a pitter. And then I'm also going to have a serving of Tilda pure basmati rice. Now when I say a serving, again, I don't really have half of this. I'll have like maybe a third or a bit less than a third. That chicken was all kinds of wonderful. It was so delicious, and honestly I just loved it. I had some, I was gonna say chips then, no, I had rice with it. I didn't have much rice, if I'm honest. I wouldn't have even said it was a third of that packet because I just loved the chicken and the veg. When I say veg, I mean the cucumber that I had with it. I had more of that rocket as well on the side. And I had half the pita bread, a few of the potatoes, like maybe 4 little potatoes, because again, I just was loving the lighter side. And I had majority chicken breast, but I did keep the skin on, so not the healthiest, but definitely the most delicious. But anyway, I'm going to call it a day here. I have just run my bath. I'm in the office tomorrow, so yeah, I want to get a head start, get myself all kind of prepped for tomorrow. And I'm also going to be filming a what I eat in a day in the office next, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to see more of these from me, and I'll see you in my next one. Oh, before I go, I'm very unlikely to eat anything else tonight. I'll probably have an orange and some water, and that'll be it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.